All right, this one's an important one. I need all parents, coaches, and players to hear me. College coach mode. Talent fills rosters. Yes. When I am out there, if I am contacting you, you have the talent. But leadership is what shapes my program. Welcome to Signed and Ready, the podcast for college bound softball players and the people who support them. I'm Mel Rushing, here with my Metal Sweet Spot co founder, Alicia Smith. Together, we're giving you the edge coaches actually recruit: mental toughness, confidence, and resilience under pressure. Because exposure gets you seen, but leadership gets you signed. Let's make it happen. My program. So I am looking for leadership above all else. When I am talking to you on a FaceTime call, when I am asking your coaches what you're like as a teammate, when I am watching you from afar, a lot of us coaches will hide to see like how you're acting in between. It's the leadership we're looking for. So, Alicia, talk to me. When we're talking about coaches, like we're looking for people to fit our culture. What does that look like for the high school girls who are putting themselves out there? Now they know to be authentic, but what does that get them? How does that help them get to each coach's culture?
Well, I think all coaches want leaders, right? Even if coaches are, it's kind of the same thing where coaches are looking for the best athletes, right? So you might have a college roster where five or six of those or more played shortstop at one time, right? They're athletes, just the same. They're looking for the same leaders, right? They want a bunch of leaders out there because leadership is not for just a few kids, right? The captains and things like that, right? It's for everyone. And leadership is not only how you carry yourself, but how do you interact with your teammates and your coaches constantly throughout the whole game. And what does that look like? Every coach might be looking for something slightly different or notice things in a different way. But ultimately, when you're leading out on the field, you're communicating, you're high-fiving, you're the first one onto the field after defense, you're spreading your position, you are cheering on your pitcher if you're not a pitcher. If you are a pitcher, you're turning around and pointing at your center fielder if she made a great play, or if she dropped a ball saying, "Hey, I got you. We're good." Those are the types of things that I know coaches are looking for. And that's when you become kind of like we talked about before, the authentic piece of yourself and what that looks like is how do you handle yourself in the classroom, in your friend group, right? At maybe if you're in some sort of club or type of thing at school, or you're doing something with your church, or you're doing something outside with that. Leadership is who you are. It isn't just showing up on the softball field and telling people what to do. And I think that there's a huge difference with that. Leadership is not telling people what to do. Leadership is influence and is part of who you are. And how do you handle the rough moments and how do you handle the great moments and everywhere in between?
Oh, so good. Like even as you're saying this in my mind, I'm like, yep, I want that kid.
Yeah.
And it looks different too. Another thing people think leadership is outgoing and talkative. Like, sure, there are aspects of like not being so internal that you get quiet, but it is not, you don't have to be the ultimate extrovert on the team to be
Right.
considered a leader.
Right. There's different ways to lead, and without getting all the details of the different ways to lead, I'm sure we can think about that player or that kid or teammates of that kid that act differently but still can lead in many different ways. Again, that's authentic to you. And coaches can, I believe, see right through that when you're acting uh, different than what more maybe you normally would.
Hmm. So to get a little more granular, that was an interesting word. Like, what are the things I like to call it self-leadership? I think that's the most impactful way you can lead because it's not in any way influenced by what the people around you choose to do. Like, you lead yourself, then other
Yeah.
people can follow. That's the influence piece. What are some like specific actions you see girls who like, okay, yeah, that's them leading themselves?
I can think of a specific player like that I've coached in the past where if they made an error, they would just be kind of like they would make fun of themselves in a way that helped them move past it. And it allowed their teammates to be able to react in a way to them also that was like, okay, like we can clap or laugh or joke or make some snarky comment in the huddle. When you've got a group of kids that get along really well and know each other and play together for a really long time, I've seen that happen where, they would call each other just into the middle with the mound who's an infielder, and they would crack some jokes and say some things. I didn't overhear all of them. It was just I knew they were talking to each other, and later you find out what they say, but it helps them get through it, right? And every kid's different. But I think when they can specifically, in that particular instance I'm thinking of, just kind of laugh it off and make a joke about it, it helps them move on. And that's great. Like if I'm watching from afar, I knew the next play that kid would make it.
Do you have any other examples of different styles of that?
Besides just making fun of themselves.
Yeah, because I absolutely know those kids.
Yeah. Um, some kids would need that minute, right, or second, just to be like, they would know their teammates would know not to talk to them, right? They didn't need it's okay, because they have said in a team meeting, we've had these before, like, what do you need when? We've gone through these before, these exercises. And this individual said, don't tell me it's okay, because it's not. Okay. So they might just turn around, if for an infielder or a catcher, might just turn their back to the field for a minute while the ball's being thrown back to the pitcher, and take a couple deep breaths, take a few steps, and turn around and come back composed. And I think that each kid has their own thing. But to me, that's personal leadership, because you're working yourself through kind of what we talked about a couple episodes ago, right? You're working yourself through the moment and you're turning around, and then you're able to show up for your team. You're not pouting, you're not, you're not jumping for joy either, but you're working through the process. You turn around, you need that moment, and now you're ready. And then you're like, okay, here we go. And the next ball comes to you. The difference usually is that player gets the ball that time and makes the play.
Yes. And I think that is a key point that we missed a couple of years back, and I had to kind of like revert. We did the 7 second rule, like, hey, 7 seconds to like really feel the feels and then move on. That got translated into 7 seconds, and then you got to be perfectly good. That's
Mm,
not how emotions work,
right.
especially the more importance you give it, like
Yes.
bigger plays, bigger moments. Like, sorry, if you strike out with bases loaded in the top of the seventh, like, that's not gonna go away in 7 seconds, which is totally normal and fine. And we still need to lead ourselves to shorten that time, like we've talked about before. So, give me an example of someone who has taken a full game. I am one. When I was playing, I'd be knocked out for a whole game after one at bat. It's not what we want, but you are where you are. Let's build from there. What are some ways you've seen girls who maybe are at that point where it's taking a long time? What are they doing to make those incremental, intentional steps back?
Well, I think the key that you just said was at the end there, like the incremental steps, right? We have to be able to learn how to do this. We have to give ourselves some grace in knowing that if we do have a 7 second rule, one, we're not always going to do it in 7 seconds. And two, like you mentioned, based on the importance of the play, maybe it was at the end of the game. So maybe it does take more than the 7 seconds or an inning to get past that. But one, we're still trying. We're still trying to focus on what we need to do to get back to neutral. But how do we react after a game is a really key. Like after the game is over, even though you were really disappointed and it happened in the third or fourth inning, or even the seventh inning, but the game is over, how are you then reacting after that? How are you interacting with your teammates? Are you helping to clean up and do the things and laughing and joking with them? How are you with your parents? Right? Or are you talking to your coaches? Are you conversing with them after the game? Say, Coach, I'm really having a hard time right now. Right? Coaches need to give them the space to have the feelings there, but then be able to help them. Okay, so maybe it's a double header and you have the next game, or you have the next day. There's always a next day until your career's over, right? There's always a next practice or a next game or until the season is over. So let's work together to get you to the place where you need to be for the next game, whether that's in between a doubleheader, the next day, or a couple hours later. And I think that's the key, is it's still in the forefront of your mind. You aren't just disregarding it, and you aren't counting to seven and beating yourself up because you haven't recovered, but you're working through these skills to continue to shorten the time. Maybe it was 2 games before, and now we're shortening it to a game, and now we're shortening it to it's only been an inning. And then we're able to do it in a moment after the play.
Hmm. And now to bring it back to the recruiting piece, have you seen moments when the player lacked that self-leadership and you could probably physically see the coaches walk away? What does that look like?
Yeah. Because they're so stressed because they know the coach is there. One, they're acting unlike themselves in a lot of ways, not only the physical piece, but the reaction and the mental piece, right? And it's a complete fall apart on the field. It's a fall apart in the dugout. They're acting in ways that are not true and genuine to them or even normal for them. And I think that's heartbreaking to watch because they just lose the ability to try to even focus on bringing it back. And it sucks. It sucks for the players, coaches, parents. It sucks for everybody because we know what's happening. And in the moment, it's like you're cheering them on to be like, it's okay that you made the error. Let's work through it and let's do it. And as a coach, you do have the ability to hopefully help them right there in the moment. But that's where the players have a choice, right? To either bounce back or not. And it's a difficult thing to do. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's really super easy. But with practice and with tools, right? You're able to help them get there and being able to bounce back.
Yes, and it's those tools front loaded, practiced when there isn't
Yes.
as much pressure. Like that's how they make significant growth. Like
Yes.
once they get too far into the pressure and that heaviness in the moment of like, I can't do anything right, it's too late. So, I would like to invite you one more time into Ready for Offers. This program, and not only will you get this training and these tools for your players, but we've also added tools for the more mechanical side of recruiting as well. Most of the conversations I have with players who get on campus, yes, of course, we tour them around, we show them what it's like on our campus. That doesn't matter nearly as much in their decision as what will life be like when I get here?
Yes.
And how can I afford it? So we've got those tools as well. Because let me tell you, especially as D3 school, the misconception, a private D3, they're like, up, it's going to cost $1 bazillion to go there. It is not $1,000 and you're good for 4 years, most likely. Some of my girls literally are paying that because they're smarties and great people. So the better grades you get and the more you work on this leadership, the more money you're going to get. And
Yeah.
we don't have any athletic specific money. Like my girls are getting a great education, a great experience because of the people they became before getting to our campus visit and beyond. Like the stuff they're doing when they graduate is powerful too. So Alicia, now you talk about your point of view. What are you excited for these girls going through Ready for Offers? What are they going to come out with at the end of it?
I'm really excited for them to be empowered to make some decisions on their own and with the right input, right? And
Mm,
to have a mindset shift that is really going to open up, I think, a whole different world for them with how they view the game, their life, school, friendships, relationships, and that's what it's supposed to be about. Like, what kind of human do you want to be? What kind of, I always ask my kids, what kind of legacy do you want to leave when you leave Madawansal? So it's kind of like asking them those little bit deeper questions so they can help. This will help them figure out who do they want to be because that's what I'm asking you to do. And how do we get there? And these are tools to help them get there, but it gives them the empowerment to really focus on themselves.
oh, so good. So check that out, mentalsweetspot.com/ready for offers. Any questions or anything at all, let us know. And we can't wait to see you in there. All right, have a good one.